Hi everybody, welcome to Our Sinclair. I'm John.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're going to be talking about deactivators.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I feel like something out of Tron.
Now you know the one of the most popular tropes in 80s action TV series was the deactivation of a bomb.
Okay.
You
Oh
know?
yeah, you mean disarming.
Yeah, disarming.
Yeah.
Disarming. Did you ever want to become a bomb disarmer before?
Oh God, no. Are you
No.
kidding me?
How do you think you would react under that kind of pressure?
Not well. You know, I mean, listen, you know me. You call me Hack Dowdy. Do you want Hack Dowdy disarming your bomb?
Well,
I'd
it
be in there
involves,
with- I'd
it
be in there
involves a
with-
lot of cutting. You're real good at that,
I'd be in there
especially
with duct tape and like a pair of sniffs. We'd all be dead a million times. You know, you ever seen Goldfinger, the Bond film?
Yes, I
Okay.
have seen that.
You know, at the end of that, Goldfinger has rigged up Fort Knox to be irradiated by this bomb he's put in there.
Right.
And Bond's in there fighting Odd Job, his RX butler with the cool hat.
Yep.
And Bond whoops this guy's tail. He's all this crazy stuff. And he's trying to get to the bomb and deactivate the bomb. And he's looking at it, and there's all kinds of crap spinning and gyrating, and he doesn't know what to do. Time's running out, and the dude just walks up and just like turns it off, basically. You know, that's how I envision my career as a bomb guy. Like I'd have to have someone more competent following me around.
You know, that movie is quite hilarious because I remember that once at the end, the police drive up, and there's basically only one gate to Fort Knox. They just drive through the gate right up into the vault.
Yeah.
that's where they end
You know,
up.
it's funny. I just completed working on an instrument that it goes to Fort Knox because Fort Knox is in Kentucky.
You live you work in the general area.
I've
of
been to Fort Knox a couple times, and rough town out there. But the military base is there. I don't know what's in there in terms
Do they
of
have a
gold.
detention center there?
No, they believe it or not, the instruments for on base. It's for an on base instrument. But yeah, it's neat. You know, some of that film was filmed in Lexington and Louisville and the surrounding area. So
Sort of on location.
and it is considered probably, if not the greatest Bond film, then one of them. There's a couple of Bonds where Bond has to deactivate a bomb. That's sort of a running bit in like spy movies and stuff. You know, nowadays they've got these robots and stuff that they sort of send, sort of like the game, I guess, that they send in to deactivate this stuff. And that's the way to go. You know, or just explode it, because if you kill a robot, no one cares.
Have you heard about the phenomenon of exploding whales?
I have, actually. But I don't remember why that happens. Why?
Yeah, well, it has to do with the way that the bacteria break down certain aspects of the whale's anatomy, and it causes a chemical reaction that actually just makes the whale explode. It's nature's way of dealing with the problem.
Is that? You know, if you were disarming that's a movie.
That's a movie and a TV series.
What you got to do
several
is
webisodes.
you got to go up to the blowhole, and you've got to you get like 7 or 8 buckets of like Zantac or something, dump in there. What would you do? Because I mean,
I'm not sure what Zantac is.
you know, that stomach stuff.
Oh, right, like Tums.
Right. You just dump a bunch of that in there.
Do you remember the film Leonard Part 6?
Oh man, I didn't. With Cosby in it. No, I missed that one.
There's a scene where he does exactly that. I think that he's forced to disarm some sort of nuclear deterrent with a can of Tums, and he's just sprinkling it around. And as he's doing it, he's singing "Alka-Seltzer to the rescue." It's a hilarious bit. Hilarious.
It's less. That movie's less funny or timely now than it probably was when it was released.
Very true.
Given the circumstances of the man in it.
We should probably stop talking about Bill Cosby
Yeah.
and start talking about
kidding.
deactivators.
So, had you ever heard of this mode?
Never in a million years.
You know, and this got released on several other systems, including the C64. So I thought maybe you might have heard of it. So now I've got this list that is being published by Ariolasoft, but your box said otherwise.
Reactor.
So, and you know, these games get published time and time again. But one thing's for sure, it was put together by an outfit called Tigress Marketing Limited. What a name. Tigress Marketing Limited. They only did a few games, Bo. I looked into them just for fun. They did a game called Galactic Games. That sounds right up our alley. They did a game called They Stole a Million with the S with a money sign.
I think that's based on a TV series.
Really? I believe it. And then one strictly, it's in all caps with an exclamation point, think.
Wonder what they want you to do in
Clearly not marketed at us for that one. They were a short-lived game development studio. They only released those few games, and they were only active in 1986 and 1987, and they were gone. That was the end of Tigress Marketing Limited. So it's funny how many of these little outfits have came and gone.
When you think about the finances of releasing a game, I mean, you're putting a lot of money in one basket, and if it doesn't pan out, it's bad times.
And the funny thing is, this game actually panned out, which we'll get into in a minute. But these guys had a hit on their hand. They designed this game. It took a month to complete, and development took 4 or 5 months. And then the game was good to go and published and did real well and was well received. We'll get into that in a little while. So again, this game came out October 6th, very specific, 1986. And again, was released on the C64 and the Amstrad CPC and the Speccy. This will run on the 48 or the 128K. And this gives you the all the usual interfaces that you could want, the Kempson Interface 2 keyboard. And was originally sold at £8.95p.
Okay.
So not too bad. So I'm trying to think of the best. How would you figure the best way to describe this game?
This is an action puzzle game.
An action puzzle game. It's got an interesting viewpoint. It's like a double 3D view. It's actually
it's a three-dimensional perspective,
right,
that shows 2 rooms on a specific floor.
Right, which it's actually. Have you ever seen a game that did this before?
This is an entirely original.
It varies. Before we do it, we should talk about the music that comes up. It's great. Is this the best? Is this the best we've ever heard on this? It's got to be right up there.
There's better Spectrum tunes, but this is one of the good ones.
It is a tremendous tune. The sound this is really good. The graphics are really good. Now they are they're your classic sort of 3D monotone. You're just mono graphics. You got two colors. In this case, a variable color and black are your colors. So you mentioned that it is sort of an action puzzle game. In this game, you control a bomb disposal robot, and guess where they get the name for it? The Deactivators. And you've got to remove bombs scattered around this scientific research complex. And guess who did it, Boat? Unnamed terrorists. They're the worst.
Yeah.
And there are...
The terrorists that have a name, they're not so bad.
Yeah. Each of the buildings have a level, or basically are a game level, and you've got a time limit to defuse the bombs. And of course, not that easy. You can't just roll in there, defuse them, and leave. There's crap trying to stop you. And if a bomb explodes in a room, everything in it is impossible to get past, and the level is effectively your bone.
Right.
Which I ran into that more than a few times. So, having never seen this game or never played it before, what was your early take?
Okay.
Because I did not grasp this game fully. It took me a good long time to try to figure out what was happening.
Let me try and explain this game in my own words.
Okay, please.
Okay, so in this game, you're wandering around this facility, a single floor on this facility. Okay, you play the part of any one of 3, at least on the first level, I think there's 3 bomb disposal robots.
Right.
So at any point, you can actually switch characters a la Maniac Mansion and go to and control a different character.
What was the other game we did on the Speccy that had that where you could switch between the 2 characters? It
was the Head Over Heels.
Head Over Heels. That's yes, exactly. Go on. I'm sorry.
So you're kind of motoring around this place. You are a hover robot. You can move around through the air, and you at the same time you're basically doing 2 things. Okay. You're looking for a circuit board,
right?
Okay. When you collect the circuit board and put it into a computer or some such device, it will open up an additional passage or window in the level.
Almost like key cards.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a key card.
Yeah.
You're also looking for bombs. Okay. When you find a bomb, it's your job to take the bomb and do what every good disposal robot does: just fling it out a window.
Shoot it into the air.
Right out of the window, right into the parking lot.
That was my. Yes, I did like that.
Yeah.
That amused me.
Yeah. These floors are also populated with other robots, bad robots. These are the security robots that patrol a facility, okay? These guys, I think, in the grand robot tradition, used to be your friends but have been reprogrammed to be evil and chase you down, okay? So how do you accomplish your mission? What you need to do is you need to, first of all, figure out the location of all your robots and determine your route. This is a game that it's heavy on the puzzle and light on the action, though it's not incredibly light on the action, it's just incredibly heavy on the puzzle aspect. There is a certain route that is kind of your optimal route that you need to take, where you need to target the right robot, control him, find the bomb or find the key card, then move on to the next guy. If you do things in the right order, the game becomes easier. These security robots really get in your way. They move fast, and it basically becomes a game of tag. When you move your robot into a room with the security robot starts chasing you, and you've got to get away from him. Okay, so how do you do that? You can move into other rooms, but the robot will follow you. The way that you get rid of the robot is you actually have to fall through the floor a certain number of times, and the security robot can only take a certain number of falls before it gets destroyed. So that's how you get rid of the security robot. So what you have to do is you're throwing bombs out of windows, and the way that you do that is when you press I think it's one of the keys on the keyboard. It opens up a menu, and you've got your which robot do you want menu, you've got your survey the scene menu, and you've got your bomb throwing menu. Okay, when you select the bomb throwing menu, you get a kind of a gauge, kind of like playing a golf game or something like that, where you can choose the angle to throw the bomb.
It reminded me of the hammer throw.
Right, in track and field or something like that. So that is essentially the game in a nutshell. They throw different things at you in later levels. For example, they spin the gravity around on you in certain rooms, so your controls are all messed up. They make certain rooms completely dark, so you're just kind of stumbling around in there. And of course, they make the location of the circuit boards more and more difficult to find, because they plant more and more security robots in each floor. All of this is set to a timer, of course, because the bomb is ready to explode, and you've got to get rid of it before it's game over.
I did not fully grasp some of this game, and it made it difficult for me to get very far. But it's a game of unique elements. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this that I don't think I've ever seen before. Mm-hmm. It's one of the few games that you can control multiple things, and it doesn't totally. I always hate when you have to control multiple things, but this isn't too bad. It's funny to see a game that's sort of puzzly, that also has it's one of those games that kind of piss people off, where it's two elements that don't necessarily go together. In this case, some puzzling and just a smidgen of twitchery in terms of throwing the bombs and moving around.
It's throwing the bombs and moving faster than the security robots.
That's right. So you've got. I can see where that would turn some people off that just want one thing or the other. But it's sort of made it, for me, I mean, even sucking as I did, it was more fun for me because there was elements in it that I could sort of get into. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty clever, isn't it? But all things considered. Like I said, the tunes in it are good. The graphics are good. They do a good job of giving you that sort of three-dimensional feel. Mm-hmm. Once you get used to the way the halls and stuff are laid out, especially with the pits and stuff, that was all very confusing to me when I first started playing.
Yeah, and it doesn't help, because to give the illusion of depth, you have to draw the floor in a checkerboard pattern.
Yeah.
However, the pits are also dark spaces on the checkerboard pattern too. So there are also teleports. We forgot to mention the teleports. You have to use those to navigate yourself around these floors, because there are some rooms that just have no way out. And again, the major problem that I have with this game is it throws everything in the kitchen sink at you right off the bat. You know, it doesn't introduce the reverse gravity rooms in the first level, but everything else you've got to do. There's no like training levels in this game. You're right into it, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I was not able to complete the first level of this.
You have to. Well, I loaded this up to try it as usual without reading anything about it, and that lasted about 10 minutes. I'm like, well, time to go find the documentation on this, because this isn't one you're just going to pick up and play. But I think this is one of those classic micro games that if you sit down and give it enough time to understand it and comprehend all of the principles of what's going on, that you can have a good time. There's a lot of panache and attention to detail in this. Everything from the high score table to the way the game opens up, the way things are rendered. They did a lot of clever little things in there to make it more fun. The gravity stuff, I had to go through and watch a playthrough just to even see that stuff. But it looks neat. You've got upside down.
This is a game that will reward you.
Put a lot of thought into
it. If you are a puzzle guy, this is really great. This is a totally unique thing. And I think it's a blessing and a curse to have a unique game, because nobody's sure how to market it. Your marketing guys don't know whether to push they're going to push the arcade action, because that's the thing that sells the most units. But if you were a kid and you brought this thing home looking to play something like Mercs or something, you're going to be disappointed.
It's funny you should mention that, because I was reading here a little snippet of how this game did. And it was a very popular game. It got good reviews, but the people that wrote it say there was basically, in terms of the selling of the game, it didn't do well. It didn't sell well, and they think that one of the main reasons was it was just exactly what you said. It was kind of hard for the people to publicize these strong aspects of the game, because it's a difficult game to explain.
These days, in 2019. There have been games in every genre, almost every conceivable thing has had a game. But in 1980, when did this come out? 1986. There were just not that many gaming genres yet, and when you had a game that kind of bended or blended genres together, it was a difficult sell, I think.
To show you how popular the game ended up being, this was ranked 28th on the Your Sinclair official top 100 games of all time, which is very high praise, and it was compared favorably with games like Spy vs. Spy. It's funny, I've played Spy vs. Spy, and I think this is probably a better game.
Oh, undoubtedly. Spy vs. Spy is well, first of all, it's if you're not playing it in 2-player mode, what are you doing?
You got that right.
At its core, it is a pretty simple idea.
This reviewed pretty well, Boat. It got a crash 85%. Not bad.
Not quite a smash.
CVG gave this 9 out of 10. And Sinclair used to give it 5 out of 5. And Your Sinclair gave it 9 out of 10. Those are pretty high scores. And so this is one that I will have to go back and spend a little more time with. This was I liked what I was seeing here. As I tried to understand what was going on, but you're right. The difficulty on this, which, boy, how many times have we said this over this month? Everything's hard right away. And again, I think the difference is in those days, they knew that the people playing this would be playing this and this alone for months.
A good long time.
And so they weren't as shy about dropping the brutal levels right away.
Another thing we haven't talked about yet, is the speed at which both your player character moves and the security robots. This game is as smooth as silk. It of course, it's a monochromatic display, which frees up space for speed. But in my opinion, this game would not have been any less fun. It would have been much less fun if they'd made it more colorful, but your guy moved slower.
Yeah, I agree. And something else we should touch on. Of course, I didn't try this, but this has a level editor, so you can make your own rooms, which that would be kind of fun to sit around doing that. I'm sure there's some fan-made stuff out there. I looked this up on the eBay, and there are a few copies out there. They range. I saw a couple going for around $20 to $25, and then even saw a copy going for $8. So it's something you can obtain. It's actually one of the more expensive titles I've seen that we've looked at on on this show.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about this game is that it was ported to. Did you go over the ports at the beginning of the show?
Yeah, C64 and the Amstrad.
Right.
Yeah.
The C64 version looks like garbage
Really?
compared to this version.
Yo, you looked at the C64 version?
Because they retained the monochromatic look, but instead of the awesome, pastel bright color palette of the Speccy, you get that sort of drab look that the C64 is kind of famous for.
The brownish.
Yeah. It is no good. So if you're going to play a version of this game, stick with the Speccy version, possibly the Amstrad version. I didn't look at that.
It's funny when things are ported from the ZX because they don't necessarily work well when ported to another system in terms of the way they look. Because
Right.
I don't know if it's because you have certain expectations graphically, but that's one system that I don't think ports coming off of it and figured all that well, at least so far that we've looked at.
Absolutely.
So I haven't looked at the C64 version. I'll have to check it out. But overall, an interesting title, very unique.
We did get some reviews on our Amigos Retro Gaming Discord server. Let's see here.
There you go.
I want to make sure that's the first one. Here we go. Starting up with Pixels at Dawn. He says, I really liked the Zybot's perspective of this clever puzzle game, but the size of the rooms and the speed of the guards made it next to impossible even on level 1 to progress. As soon as a bot is dead, there is no point in continuing. Even watching a walkthrough online, I wasn't able to repeat the requisite moves to advance. A lot of potential here, but give me a chance, game.
Yeah.
4 out of 10. Spence QLZX says, it's an arcade puzzler stupendous. It's a Spectrum game, and there's no higher compliment in this world you can give software. 9.16 out of 10.
Bizarre.
Yeah. Next up, let's see here. Chris Fold says, this on paper should be my cup of tea. I read the manual, I've put in a couple hours, but this game is Macho Man Savage hard.
Oh, yeah.
This game concept, graphics, everything are spot on, but I just can't get anywhere, unfortunately.
That's exactly the way
4
I
out of
felt
10.
right there. That's
4 out of
exactly
10.
the way I felt.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one. It's just very difficult.
Thank you, guys, for leaving those reviews. We always enjoy reading reviews from our Discord channel. All right, Aaron. It's time. We're at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank all the fine folks that make Our Sinclair happen. All of our Patreon supporters. I'd like to thank Andrew Waite, Jeff Owen, David Spencer, Cap'n Crispy, Laurent Giroux, Gary Heather, Eric Nelson, Harbonaut, Graham W. Bebke, Frodo NL, Don't Wear the Ring, Tapes from the Crypt, Pixels at Dawn, Chris Folds, Paul Bossman Harrington, and a man from Down Under, Christopher Hassel.
All right. We'll get a couple men from Down Under on that list.
We do. And if you want to support the show, patreon.com/Our Sinclair.
Yeah.
Next week, Aaron, we are going to be playing, it's our Halloween Spooktacular, Yumiko in the Haunted House.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Haunted house game.
Yeah.
I'm down.
It's going to be cool.
You ever played this one?
Not played this one. Really looking forward
Is
to it.
this amongst the ones you own?
No. I believe, and don't quote me on this one, this may be a more recent release.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Wow, we haven't played any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That'll be
Actually, we have more T-Vicar.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that
but
one.
not very many.
Yeah.
Very many. So, guys, thanks as always for watching and or listening. We'll see you next week. Until then, rewind tape.
And press play.